See, I'm already just giggling way too much because we just got done watching, in the chronological order of us recording videos, we just got done watching Tim Pool and Fresh and Fit being pretty hilariously misogynistic about women's voting rights and whatnot. Um, and now we're going to watch Podcast of the Lotus Eaters, where Sargon's going to discuss husbands and wives and social media, which I'm sure is just going to be just so brilliant, just so incredibly brilliant. Let's go.
I'm just thinking of my own wife, who she's a housewife, but there's no way she would consider herself in submission to me. She's
She would have to be like 4'10" to be submissive to you, Carl.
an average English woman who speaks her mind, but I am the man of the house, and I'm the one who says no when she's asking for things, right?
Gross. Weird. Why does she have to ask you for anything? Is it... Well, I mean, look, I guess like it's one of those things where like if she's not producing an income, he is. Like, I can kind of see where that comes from, but the truth is, if she's raising your kid, she's paying into the family system, right? Like, her labor has value. I would say that her labor, taking care of the children in the house, is substantially more valuable than what you do for a living, Carl.
It becomes more and more difficult. But she has to respect the no, right? Because I'm the breadwinner.
Because of the implication, right? Oh, no, he's so boring. He's so boring. And the only thing that's fun about Carl is he still to this day is so convinced, he's so up his own butt and sniffing his own farts that he is a very smart man. And he is very stupid.
Yeah. Which would be the definition of submission. But it is not oppression. But it is not oppression. It is willing submission. And what people ignore.
Kinky. I'm kind of into that, All right. Ready for some willing submission.
Is that before it says woman submit to your husband, it's like, man, give your life for your wife. We are expected to give everything, defend our family with our lives. So it's not
When are you going to do that? Because I've heard this a lot. I've been hearing this kind of dog shit since, middle school. So, Jesus Christ, how fucking old am I? Like 30 years. 30 years I've heard this argument like, men are supposed to be the chads and they're going to go and fight in the wars and they're going to fucking die. Blah, blah, blah. Hasn't happened to me yet. Hasn't happened to this guy yet. Definitely hasn't happened to Carl. Men join the military willingly, and men may go and fight, and they may die. They may not die. They may become irrevocably scarred. But, like, this idea that you can sit there in this posh English little studio thing and, like, men are supposed to be willing to give up their lives. When? Like, it's a fantasy. It's so weird.
A one-sided deal. No. It's not one person submits. It's actually both submitting to each other in slightly different roles.
Sure, why not?
But that system obviously is completely broken.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
We don't have that anymore. There's now a slight trend to go back to traditions, the whole treadwife thing. I think some of that is very wholesome. I think some of them are absolute grifters.
Yeah. I think probably most of them are grifters and most of them are cringe. If you choose, and this is the thing though that really bugs me is, if you live an alternative lifestyle, right? Say you're a gay couple, or one of you is trans, or you're in a polyamorous relationship, or whatever, those people don't look at traditional people and say, why aren't you having orgies? Or why aren't you having sex with the same person, the same gender as you? Like, they're not saying any of that. They don't care what you do. Whereas people who are trad usually look at alternative lifestyles, and they're usually the people who claim that they're for freedom, and they're like, you're doing it wrong, and you're living wrong, and you should be living the way that I do, right? So it's really one of those things like, who is more embracing the notion of personal freedom and choice? It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. There's no laws being put out there to try and stop the heteros, okay? I'm sorry. It's just very, very weird.
I think it's become a fetish.
Exactly.
A fetish.
And those are the grifters. So my wife, for example, she started watching on, she uses TikTok quite a lot and watches really good stuff on TikTok. Recently discovered Andrew Tate. Very funny. Because I don't watch him.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
Yeah. But she said, he says a lot of really good stuff. But
Your wife said that Andrew Tate says lots of good stuff. Your wife's an idiot.
my wife, she asked me yesterday, and she said, I started watching these things. There's something like with women that are traditional. I was like, tradwives. And she was like, yeah, that's the one. And I told her, well, I think there are quite a few grifters amongst them that just love the fashion of the 50s. Exactly.
Okay. So what? If that's their kink, who gives a shit? Leave them alone.
Exactly. And she said, no, the ones that she's listening to, they all have like 5-6 children and are actually stay-at-home moms. And they just explain what benefits it has, what difficulties it has. And it's good to see that there is some content out there. And I think...
Okay, who gives a shit? If you like it, you like it. What? Jesus Christ.
That is through culture, through change in mindset. It's the only way that man's rights can be addressed.
So, just as a quick aside on this, there's two kinds of like tradwife content that I've seen. One is by some 20-something, very buxom young lady.
I know which one he's talking about. Hell yeah.
Who's, got beautiful blonde hair. She's wearing a very tight dress.
Yeah.
And she's, the camera is not on her head, but it's on like, and so this is the fetish aspect. But then you've got like...
I like that one too. That's pretty awesome. That's totally awesome. Man, I'd be super down for that. Like, I'm just a little homemaker. I'm just doing my own thing. Oh no, Antifa is coming to terrorize my town. How you doing, girl? Mama? I can't help myself. Ooh, fuck yeah, man. Absolutely. Hell yeah. Yeah, trad wife gets fucking dicked down by some super soldier serum. You know what I'm talking about. What?
Like you say, the other one where it's a normal looking woman who's got 4 kids or 5 kids or whatever. And she's just talking about her family life. Because, I mean, my wife shares a lot of this stuff from Instagram on her Facebook timeline, so I see a lot of it. And, a lot of it's kind of like memes for mums, and stuff like that, which is all quite wholesome. But there is an aspect of it that there's this one particular account that my wife is constantly going on about. Because this woman claims, on her Instagram that every day she gets up and makes fresh food for 7 kids or something, and then has a perfect house and then does all this baking. And my wife's like, I'm tired. I don't have the... How does she... And I'm like, darling,
it's fake. It's all fucking fake.
Crafted for Instagram.
Right.
It is like women, taking photos of themselves where they take 6 hours to set up the shot, get one shot, and then boom, there it goes. And it looks like it's just an off-the-cuff thing. It is crafted. And so it's the same sort of trap with the beauty influencers.
Yeah. Or trying to tell men the best way to treat a woman or to be a trad or to do this or to do... It's all the same fucking thing, man. It's all the same thing. It's like, you do this, Carl. You do this. You're doing it right now.
Actually, you fall into it with Instagram for women who are trying to be just normal women, basically.
Is his name the Liver King? The guy who, but like a bodybuilder who said he only ate a raw meat diet like our ancestors, and he was like just like the biggest guy ever,
Yeah.
completely on steroids.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
and sham.
Yeah.
So it's something quite similar. Don't trust these people. If it
Don't trust any YouTuber ever. Just don't.
looks too perfect, then it's not real. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. If it doesn't have a kind of sort of naff look about it, then it's not real.
Yeah, and if they don't say, "Look, this sometimes sucks,"
Yeah.
it's not, then it's not real, because sometimes it does.
If they don't have stress lines, crow's feet, then it's fake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At the very least, I will agree with these guys on that. Yeah, I mean, unless, and the thing is, that's true with anything. That's true with any kind of marketing. You don't really get the big numbers by just being really raw, right? Like just for showing all of your scars and all of the messes, and like you just don't. People might be able to relate better to it, but people aren't necessarily looking to relate, especially when they're looking at something like Instagram. They're looking for that fantasy. That's what they want, So, but unfortunately, they then judge themselves based on that. I mean, I do it too. I try not to. I try not to give a fuck, and for the most part, I succeed. But, every now and then it hits me too. Yeah, it's very natural. Let's give this a little bit longer.
So,
But anyway, sorry.
no, it's fine. So I think, and so there needs to be a change, and I think we do see a change. I think we do see young people being fed up with some of the narrative that they are being fed. When you read the comments underneath articles, even in newspapers like The Guardians or so, people are sick of it. They are sick of feminism quite often, and they're like, what about man? What about the male experience? And so on. And
we're just right back to 2015 again, guys.
I would say the vast majority of comments now are against the narrative.
Oh.
Which is really refreshing.
Voting doesn't really seem to echo that,
But that doesn't seem to affect policymakers or the media at all.
And
No, it doesn't.
I mean, I agree completely. But the problem I have.
Look. These two are completely fucking out of touch. Look, here's the simple fact of the matter is this. Under Obama, things, at least socially, seemed to be pretty good. That allowed very, very loud people that had very loud and unreasonable grievances to gain huge notoriety. They were very loud, and they got a lot of people to pay attention to them. People like Carl, people like myself, I'll admit it, latched onto that, thinking that this is indicative of how people were at large. We were wrong. Well, Carl will never admit it, but I will. That the overwhelming majority of people who kind of believed in these ideals were just regular people, and you weren't seeing them because they didn't make YouTube channels. This is out-of-touch boomerism shit. This is copium. Actually, the silent majority of people really hate feminism. No. The silent majority of people don't give a fuck either way. But they believe in the basic tenets of equality and trying to treat people well. But they don't have to talk about it all the time because they don't have a YouTube channel. They have other shit to worry about, paying their bills, taking care of their kids, petting their fucking cat, washing their car, that kind of stuff. They don't care. But if you were to ask them, like, hey, do you think women and men should be treated equally? Yeah. Well, fuck. There you go. And that's the overwhelming majority of people on the fucking, well, not the planet, but in the West. And that just is what it is. It is what it is. And this constant trying to cope is just maintaining their very fragile audiences. It's so transparent. It's so annoying. And it's so old. It's old, Carl. It's like you've been doing this shit now for 8 years, and it's still not going to come back. It's never coming back. I'm sorry. It's over.